you're having a great day, and thank you so much for shopping along with us. We're talking Stately Steel. Brittany Casconi is our spokesperson and expert representing Stately Steel, and I'm your host, Lynn Murphy, and we love, love, love hearing from you and love the beautiful selections that we've had and all the new styles and the big silhouettes that we're seeing, not only in, high trend fashions, but also in fine, high-end jewelry looks. And that brings me into this next sample here, brand new, of a gorgeous custom cut crystal ring. This is what we refer to in the gem world as superior fancy cut. And that look would also grant a very superior fancy price.
Big price
so
tag.
we love the look, but definitely maybe not feasible for the majority of us, right?
No.
But why not be able to do that look? And this is the whole idea from our buyers in the concept of Stately Steel.
Yep, that's what they do.
Right? To have a look like this, we have your choice, either the pink with the gold, or what you're looking at here is the blue, that blue sapphire look in the silver, that, in the white metal look. $29.95. 5 through size 10. The pink at this point is where we are most limited. But when you see this, and we'll take you on a fabulous tour. Oh, and we have the clear too. Oh, good.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if okay, we did bring in the clear. So you have that diamond look that you're seeing here on Angela, how beautifully that works back to the hinged bangle with that nail head design that's just back in stock. There's those highly, highly sought after beaded bracelets that we gave you a little sneak peek of earlier. You're getting a set of 5 of those. That's just 3 of the white metal. Combined in that stack look. And there's that just couture bangle bracelet that we got things started off with this hour, which is also brand new. Now, having something as big and as fabulous and as bold as this fancy cut, you're gonna think, oh, that's gonna be really bulky on. No. Isn't it comfortable, girls? You would know immediately. And I'll tell you, when it's a really thick, wide band, I'll say, it definitely either go up a size or just know that it's gonna be a little bit bolder on the side, because that's what, most bolder rings do. They have a much, much thicker, wide shank. So it might be a little bit of a bulkier look, but you want something that's gonna be balanced in proportion. This, I would say, 100% on your true size. Look how they tapered that fancy cut of the crystal, just like they would a gemstone, curved it beautifully all the way down the side. And every direction that you look at, this has an icicle effect of gorgeous colors. It is a pop of color, it's a pop of wow. And it is a pop of, look at me, I am wearing a magnificent, fine, fancy cut, spectacular diamond or gemstone, because who else is gonna do something like this, right?
Yeah, and
without charging a fortune.
Yeah, and that dome shape, I love the way it just sits so comfortably on, because a lot of the times when I'm wearing chunky jewelry, again, I have to keep in mind what I'm doing that day.
Yeah.
I have to be like, okay, if I spent a certain amount on this, or if I'm gonna be on the go, or I'm gonna be working a lot with my hands, can I really be distracted with the chunky jewelry that's on my hands? Absolutely not. I do not feel that way when I'm wearing this ring. And really with any Stately Steel jewelry, because again, we don't have to worry.
True.
Because it's indestructible.
Great point. In these final seconds here, we'll keep you updated. Most limited is the pink with the gold. The sapphire blue has the white, and then the clear also has the white. Yes, in the metal, in the Stately Steel, in 5 through size 10. Thank you. I wish this was another great example. I wish we had another 1,000 of them, but unfortunately that's not the case, so we are gonna scoot along. What I do wanna mention are the